I had seen the reports on the news of all the devastating things that are going on around our planet and the way that they were affecting people, and I was just looking for a way to help, and seeing as conventional campaigning and lobbying MPs didn't seem to be having any effect. When I heard about Extinction Rebellion, I thought, you know, maybe this is the answer, something to get involved in that will make a difference. And since getting involved in it, I really do think that changes have been made, even just in the way that people are speaking about what's going on in a completely different way.
Extinction Rebellion to me is the first organisation I've ever been involved with that really treats the climate crisis seriously. But unlike other organisations in this field, it's the people that draws me to it and keeps me there. They're very special, they're very committed, but they're very open, and they listen to you. And I think for the first time in my life, in going to meetings like this, I listened too. And as the weeks and months passed and I got involved in the rebellion, which was the most beautiful thing I've ever been involved with, I think I fell in love with the movement. And that's what keeps me there, that and my love for Mother Earth.
So I joined Extinction Rebellion because of the urgency of the situation we're facing with climate change and the environmental catastrophe that's coming towards us. And I feel, as a young person, that really scares me. And we don't have long left, but Extinction Rebellion is doing something about that, and really pushing along the political process. I'm involved in local politics. I'm a city councillor for the Green Party, but I feel that Extinction Rebellion is really so important in raising awareness and making clear the fact that we're in an emergency, and so we need to take emergency action.
For the environment. And so I planned to stay for 2 days and ended up staying for a week. And because when I got there, I realised this was something that was different to anything else I'd experienced before, in that it was a place where people were creating the world that they wanted to exist. And it was a clean environment, it was a caring environment, it was an environment surrounded by people who were creative, thinking, intelligent people, and it was something that I decided then to commit basically my entire life to.
I joined Extinction Rebellion last year, and it immediately struck me that there was something different happening here. I've been part of other groups before, I've given mine the Greenpeace, I've been on marches, all that kind of stuff, but something different is happening with Extinction Rebellion. It isn't just saying, no, we must stop a given thing. It's not saying, no plastic straws, no fossil fuels, no nothing like that. It's aiming for a more transformative change, and that's what I love about it. Everything that we do, the way we do it, how we do it, all that kind of regenerative culture, all the organisational stuff, is all about making something new and creating a new world and a different way of doing things, and just presenting an alternative that I haven't seen presented before. I've seen lots of things about how we need to stop doing things, but very little about how we need to do things differently.
I joined Extinction Rebellion because I had a long time awareness of climate change and the coming issues that we're all facing now. In the 1990s, I'd read and heard about the Maldives likely to sink away under the sea with rising sea levels, and I stopped flying in the 1990s. I have never owned a diesel car. I cycle. I've actually just gone car-free after 40 years of having my own car. But the thing that has restricted me is, until April last year, I was a serving police officer in Norfolk Constabulary, prohibited from being a political activist. And although Extinction Rebellion is working off scientific fact and report, we are regarded as being politically active. And I knew that if I'd become a public environmental activist, I would have probably lost my job and been in breach of disciplinary regulations. And I felt serving my local community as a police officer was as important to me at that time and I'm more aware now of the climate science and the factual reports we get every day of climate change.
Well, without wanting to overstate things, Extinction Rebellion has changed my life in all of the most positive ways you can think of, but also given me an opportunity to act on the climate crisis rather than just being scared about it. It's the actions that give me hope, and it's Extinction Rebellion that gives me hope. You get to do such a variety of things, everything from press releases and media stuff to making art things like patches, and you get to spend time, lots of time, with people you really enjoy being with. So that's mostly what I love about the movement. I wish more people would join. We need everybody, and I wish more people of different backgrounds would join as well. We're not all middle-class virtue signallers. I'm not middle-class at all, trust me. And so, yeah, and I read a really good quote in This Is Not a Drill, the Extinction Rebellion handbook, plug, which was, if you wait for everybody else to be ready, you'll be waiting forever. You just have to stand up and do it and lead by example. So please stand up with me and do it.
Well, I think it's really important for me to be part of XR because although we can all do our bit on a personal level, like recycling more, flying less, eating less meat and dairy products, yeah, that's not going to cut it to make a broader systemic change. So I like XR because we're not only trying to do our best within the system, but then also try to change the system as well. And I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to, you know, continue to live in a sustainable way in the future. And this is something a lot of people in XR talk about as well, is that usually when you go about your day-to-day life, there are a lot of people who aren't thinking so much about climate-related issues. And XR is good because you're with a group of people who care deeply about the environment as well. And it's almost kind of therapeutic, the way that we all get together and speak about how we feel about the state of the environment. And then when we all take actions together, it like I say, it has an almost like therapeutic effect and makes you feel better. At least you're doing something tangible, even if it's a really small thing. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, so I joined the Extinction Rebellion because of I'm so concerned about the direction that we're going in and how for many years we've been hearing about this crisis of climate change and the fact that it's getting exponentially worse. So Extinction Rebellion for me is the best thing I can see to make a difference and hopefully change where we're going, because I feel there's a really clear and well thought out plan to just cause a small amount of disruption in the form of protesting to bring enough awareness to this problem. And it doesn't feel like any other protests that I've seen or participated in. It's very, very clever because it's not just for one day. We're taking a regenerative, or I think there's a really good regenerative approach where people can maintain the actions and also take time to rest as well. So I think that's a really key part of Extinction Rebellion is sort of regeneration and taking time to rest. So for me, I just think it's the only thing at the moment that I can see is going to bring about change, because at the moment the government and other interests are not going to create the change that's needed to stop this emergency.
So I joined Extinction Rebellion in just before the April Rebellion because I was feeling very hopeless and I didn't see any action being taken on the climate crisis, and that was very, very, very depressing. So as somebody that wanted to have children and a family and have the wonderful childhood that I had, realising that there wasn't an option, my heart was broken into a million pieces. But being an Extinction Rebellion has given me a lot of hope. I think we feel quite powerless and alone when we're just going about our day-to-day life, but being with a movement of people that have the chance to make the change that we need just does fill me with hope, and I think that we can't carry on without it. We have to have hope, basically. I also like that there's no one leader in Extinction Rebellion, although people like to think that Roger Hallam is a leader. He's not. We all get to make decisions together, and I love that. I went to a political meeting a few weeks ago, and I did not like the structure of it at all, because I'm so used to everyone having an equal voice, an equal opinion on stuff. So yeah, that's made me fall in love with XR more, because you can get so much done and be so productive, and as long as you're following the core principles, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So that's wonderful, and yeah, I want to be on the right side of history, I guess.